Hey STM, so if you're watching this video, chances are you want to find a book, but you're not in the library. So you don't have the option of just walking around and looking at a book on the shelf. But I'm here to tell you that from wherever you are, if you have access to the internet, you have access to searching our library. So we're gonna go to the library Moodle page, and inside the library Moodle page, we are gonna go to the section called Finding Books. And you're looking for the link that says Alexandria. When you open Alexandria, always search the magnifying glass because we want to look closer into what kind of books we have. And then you can search for a particular book. And notice if I search for something that shows up in multiple places, I could shift my search to call number, and that will then help me get to my fiction books because the call number starts with F. And then I can see if the book that I want is in or not. If I know there's a particular book that I liked, I could click on the title of the book and I could look for some search terms. So I searched on magic, fiction. So now I have a list of what says it's 100 results, but it actually has more because it'll only show you 100 at a time. But I can see all of the books that were listed as fiction and magic. So I can do the same thing if there was a particular author that I enjoyed to see what else they may have written. I can either see all of the books we have in the library by that author. If this is an author with a popular last name, I might want to also put their first name so I make sure I'm just looking at books by that author. But again, I can click on the title of a book and I can see all the different possible search terms. They show up under the heading subjects and they are blue. That shows me that they are hyperlinks within our catalog. So then I would have other books with similar subject terms. So that's a really quick way to search. But a lot of times I have students that say, hey, I'd like a sports book that is worth 13 points. So you can in fact search that way as well. So if I'm on the screen and if I go to Advanced and Study Program, I'm going to focus on the point count here. I'm not going to do anything with the numbers in reading level. And I don't need to worry about interest level. But say I want a book that's worth a minimum of 10 points and say a maximum of 15. And I want that to do with sports. So I have 35 books that I can look through and see what books are currently in. And I do recommend always going back to new search and changing up your search terms. Notice I got more results with the word football. 10 results if I look for soccer, but there might be books on here that didn't pop up last time. New search. Basketball. 21 results. So basically, the main thing to keep in mind, go to Alexandria, Researcher, Advanced, change that to Study Program, and then you can adjust the point count. And try different search terms of things that you might like. Notice the difference between mystery and suspense, 38 results for suspense. 100, which means there are actually more than 100 when I search mystery. So it's not always going to be the same books that pop up based on your search terms, so try different options and search away. A few last pointers about searching. You can search by genre, but keep in mind that whenever you see 100 results returned, there are more than what is actually showing, so it does help to narrow your search terms down. Finding a book that you particularly enjoyed or think you might enjoy helps you by going into the title of the book and getting some other search terms if they have a multitude of search terms listed. So in this particular example, that's not going to help me too much. I'm able to get back to my search results by clicking on the red X, and that minimizes that specific window. So if I try this book, so now I have options adventure fiction or dinosaurs fiction. I would not have thought 100 results would have shown up with dinosaurs fiction. But notice this one has other options. So 3 whole results. easier to work with. Most of the books, when you go into the title, will give you a short summary. This is usually a summary that came to us with the catalog information for the book. So I do recommend, if you want to know a little bit more about it, go to Goodreads, and if you put that title in as a search term, you can usually get a little bit more of a description of the book. You can even at the end of the screen see information about ratings, and sometimes if there is a preview available, for example, how Amazon will let you search the first few pages of the book, it would show up underneath the cover, and if you click on preview, it would usually let you read the first couple of pages of the book. So then you get a sense if the way that the author writes is something that you would actually enjoy. I do recommend, when you are looking at AR information, and that usually shows up at the bottom of our cataloging, it'll identify how many points the book is worth, is to always double check at AR Book Find to see if that number is correct. There were some changes that were made a couple of years ago, and we tried to update as many books as possible, but there are a few that we've noticed have slipped through the cracks. So always, while it's helpful to have that information here, if you're really counting on a specific point value, because they're recorded in the physical books here, but if you have a question as to how many points it actually is worth, go to AR Book Find and double check that. If for any reason you search for the title of a book and it tells you there are AR points in our catalog, and you go to AR Book Find and you find it in our catalog and it tells you that there are points that you can earn, but if you search that title in AR Book Find and don't find it, you can always try to add the name of the author. But if you still don't find it, chances are it is on a list of books that we have tests for only at STM. You can confirm that under AR information. Our AR policy has all of the important links that you would need for AR, and we have a list of books only available at STM, and it's organized by author. And so then you probably would then find the title of the book. So don't worry if you do find it in our catalog and AR doesn't say it has tests. If our catalog, Alexandria, says that there are points, then there is a test for you to take. The only thing you would need to check is the exclusion list. You should always check the exclusion list. So I do know Stephen King has a number of books on the exclusion list. So if I go to the library course page and I go to the AR information section, under the policy there is the exclusion list, and I can scroll down to the author's name and I can see that luckily the book that I had singled out is not on the exclusion list. I can also use the Control F function to search quickly for the author's name or the title of the book. One last tip to help you find books that you might have never discovered before is to look under databases on our Moodle page. We have an EBSCO database that actually helps you find books based on their similarity to books you might have enjoyed in the past. So if you go to EBSCO databases, the login information is blurred out because it has to be reserved for our students, but if you're actually in Moodle, you will see the login information and you will log in, and the Novelist option, it's the second on the screen, you have to click on the words and not the circle. This website actually lets you search for books based on types, feelings, moods. So notice the thing that comes up at the beginning is I'm in the mood for books that are. If I search teen, it gives me 3 different options. And these moods that they offer to you as suggestions are usually seasonal. They even let you make your own combo. So they have an appeal mixer. So you can choose things based on types of characters. Illustration, less so, that you probably want pace, fast-paced, intensifying, leisurely pace. Also storyline or tone or writing style. So you can definitely choose, and they have other options there for appeal combos. They also have recommended reading lists on the left-hand side of the screen, and under teen you can notice all the different options that pop up. Notice if I click on for fans of, they have a variety of lists based on what you might be a fan of. Also, if you like, and they give you book lists based on whether you like a specific kind of book. And finally, if you put in the title of a book that you've particularly enjoyed, so probably not one that y'all would choose, but it is a favorite of mine. If you find that book in the list, usually it's going to give you the option to see title read-alikes and author read-alikes. So I could find other authors who write like Jane Austen, or I could find other books that are similar to this particular book. If it's a series, it'll even give me series read-alikes. For example, The Selection is a very popular series with some of our students. So notice I could look at a list of title read-alikes, author read-alikes, and series read-alikes. It's not guaranteed that we have all of the titles or authors that pop up in this database, but it certainly opens a world of possibilities to you that you might never have considered. So I recommend checking that out.